Hi, everyone. Well, welcome to our final part finale of our tequila tasting series, courtesy of my friend Brad from Agave Love and Lore. Definitely follow Agave Love and Lore. These samples have been so much fun, and Brad at Agave Love and Lore is extremely knowledgeable about tequila. He's got great content, very insightful videos, and I definitely recommend that you follow Agave Love and Lore. Great guy. Great content. Definitely follow them. So for our finale, we're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at you today. I mean, I'm putting it all out there for this finale. So the main part of the review is going to be this G4 Blanco. Now, Brad from Agave Love and Lore told me to do the reviews the opposite way that I was originally going to do it, and I totally get why he did it. I was going to go from, the Blancos, Reposados up to Añejos, and we did it the opposite way. We did it from basically the most aged down to the least. And today we are at the least. This is the G4 Blanco. Blanco would be the ones that are barely aged, if at all. I think maybe I heard there's maybe a few weeks or something really, really minimal. So we're going to review this one, and then we're going to put them against the ones I have saved. Some samples, a little bit from each sample, and I'm going to kind of rank them. So at this point right now, there's a couple of thoughts right now. First of all, as I mentioned, the Lost Law Reposado, definitely my number one so far, followed by the Insolito Añejo with 2. And the G4 Reposado right now is third, but that depends on where this falls. Now, this is very interesting because I just did the last review of the G4 Reposado. They look almost the same in color to me. I really can't even distinguish them, honestly. So my thinking is that, now you notice the Lost Law Reposado was darker. I have a little bit of left there. So my thinking is that, in terms of the Reposados, this would be probably on the lower end of the aging of the Reposado, maybe 2 months, and this is the Blanco, which is even aged less. But to me, this is very, very small distinction, if at all. We'll see how the taste is. But this is a second one from G4, but this is the G4 Blanco. So as with everything else, it's 80 proof, no additives. I'm going to take a guess that this was also twice distilled, and it did not, there's no information on the aging because, again, this is a Blanco, it's not aged. And then I'm also going to actually put this against my only experience with Blanco, aside from, getting, any Blancos I got with, a Corona or a tequila shot or anything like that. Maybe something I've used in a margarita, although I'm really not much of a margarita person. Haven't had too many of those. Would be this Milagro Silver, but this is considered a Blanco. That's really my experience, so we're going to kind of compare that. We're going to do a lot of comparisons. So let's get this in the glass and get started. Okay, so we have this in the glass, and let's get right to the nose. This reminds me very much of the G4 Reposado in terms of a very potent nose, and I myself kind of like the ones that are a little more subtle. I know even though it's an Añejo, the El Mejor tequila that I had quite a potent nose, and I'll see how the Milagro is. Let's get right into the taste. Let me get out of the taste of that. It's okay. It's definitely, there's definitely no oak presence in there at all. This is definitely probably more of the tequilas that I've been used to in the past. I kind of want to see two comparisons right off the bat. I want to see how this kind of tastes against the Milagro, and I wanted to see how it tastes against the G4 Reposado because they're so similar. We just take one more taste of this. I want to see how close it tastes to the G4 Reposado, and then I'm going to do the Milagro. It's going to actually help me formulate my opinion because I'm still saying, first of all, right here, I like some of the influences of the tastiness I'm getting from the Lost Law Reposado and the Insolito Añejo. I'm not getting that same oak presence, although for some reason I'm not disliking this in that sense. I kind of like, I want to see how the G4 Reposado tastes against it, so I'm going to get that one in. Okay, we have both in a glass. This is the G4 Reposado. This is the G4 Blanco. I don't know. You tell me in the comments, can you see anything different here? These are so similar. These look like two Blancos. Brad, did you put two of the same in here? I'm just kidding. But this really looks very similar. Maybe a drop more color in this. It's very, very close. So G4 Reposado, which was our last one we tasted. Well, let me do the nose first. Very similar. Cheers. And now this one. They're awfully similar. They're awfully similar, but I'm going to probably have a weird comment here in a second. I'm going to call it pretty even. I was going to say I thought maybe I like the Blanco better. I really think these two, to me, and maybe it's because I'm not as polished in terms of tequila tasting, but I looked at these two. They look so similar. They taste very similar to me. I know they're both the same brand, but I would call this, a draw both ways on both of these. It's very little distinguishing to me. I have to think that as a reposado, this would be on the lowest end of the aging. The aging is nothing here, maybe at the bare 2 months here. It's very similar. I'm going to now just quickly, for this comparison, I want to get the Milagro in the glass. I told you about throwing the kitchen sink at you. Okay, so let's get the Milagro. Okay, so now I have the Milagro Blanco, Silver Blanco, and then I have the G4 Blanco. Let's just leave the G4 Reposado out of this. Blanco against Blanco. So the Milagro. Okay, now this is actually very good, because now in this case, compared to the Milagro nose, I like the G4 Blanco nose better. Let's see how it tastes. Okay, that's the Milagro, the G4 Blanco. The G4 Blanco is better. It's all relative. It's all relative. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. The G4 Blanco and the Reposado were not my favorites. But it's interesting because compared to this one, I'll do this one more time. It is really relative, because now I guess that's what you have to do this blind. I don't know if I can do tequila's reviews blind because I don't pick them out. I probably should do that. But one more time, the Milagro. Now the G4. Okay. So slightly better nose on the G4 Blanco as opposed to the Milagro, and a slightly better taste. So basically, I'm going to now, one more time, I told you we're going to put it all out there quickly since this is the finale, and then I'll order everything up. Bringing the Insolito back and bringing the Lost Lore back right now. We're tasting everything. Okay, B, I got them all the samples now, whatever I saved. I have still some left over, but I put them in the glass. This is just like a giant curtain call. Absolute curtain call we're doing. We're going to bring them all back. So now let me do what I started with. I'm going to go with the Insolito Añejo, which is right here. Cheers. I'm going to give us a nose. Okay, cheers. Now when I go back to this one, you can definitely taste more barrel influence. I could see why I thought that was good. And now I want to see if this is still my number one, which is the Lost Lore Reposado. Cheers. It really is. It really is. I never thought, from what I understand, Reposado would beat out the Añejo. And we just tasted these. This was the G4 Reposado and the G4 Blanco. G4 Blanco, G4 Reposado are dead even. I mean, it's dead even. So I'm sticking by this. Lost Lore Reposado is the winner of this match. Number one, Insolito Añejo, number two, and tied for we don't call it last place, nothing's last, but tied for third, G4 Reposado and G4 Blanco. But either way, Brad, you definitely taught me that I see what better tequilas taste like, whether I like some more than less. It was certainly better than this, the El Mejor. So once again, thank you, Brad, for these wonderful samples. Definitely follow Agave Love and Lore. Absolute super guy, super content. And thank you all for watching. Cheers. More reviews to come. Take care. And one more thing, as Brad from Agave Love and Lore always says, respect what's in your glass. Cheers.